Hello, this is Tom with the Tractor Rescue Ranch. I thought we'd do a little bit of a different video today and show you what some of my attempts at gardening is in this country. I've got several things that working against me here. Number one, we live in a cold climate. It's June 21st today. Our morning temperature this morning was 28 degrees. I've already got the garden planted, but the sensitive stuff we had covered. You can see the old blankets and stuff, so it all survived. Anyway, this is just a little in-ground garden plot that we have. It's pretty much at the highest point of our property. The farther down into the bottom of the valley you go, the colder it gets, so this is our best effort. It's in our front yard here. The first stuff, I've got a roll of red amaranth, Hopi red dye amaranth, and it has germinated and coming up. It's hard to see. We've got 3 rolls of dillweed, and then hopefully you can see some volunteer amaranth from last year. We've been here this is our 4th summer here, and last summer was the first summer that we've gotten the amaranth to grow to the point where it would produce seed. And so that's the volunteer amaranth that you see there. And I have a lot better luck with the volunteer amaranth than I do with replanting it every year. So once you get it to go to seed, seems like you've got it forever. Right down in here, we've got some onions. Got a couple rolls of beans just starting to come up. 2 rolls of peas, another 2 rolls of peas. The peas are really good because they're a cold weather crop. Got some radishes coming there. Swiss chard. They're all cold weather crops. And on down here we've got some beets. So that's pretty much our main garden bed. I keep mulch on it all the time. I don't ever till it. I just add mulch when I need it and rake the mulch back and just do a little furrow and plant the seed in the ground without tilling it. This spring when I did that, it was just loaded with earthworms. Doing really well as far as the soil goes. Got some other things going on over here. This here dill is a sun scoop designed to help you garden in cold weather. You can see the rocks placed around in an upside down horseshoe shape. The plants I've got around it are orach, beautiful dark plant. You can eat those as salad greens, and they taste a lot like spinach, and they're the best cold weather crop that I've ever found. And once you get them going and let them go into seed, they do really well, and they just come back on their own every year. They're not a perennial, but they're just really easy reseeder. So in here, we've got cucumbers. We love to do dill pickles. And so these cucumbers are doing really well here. And then the top layer here is some tomatoes. We did them as starts. Everything else we did as seed. And last year in this sun scoop, I actually grew some vine ripened tomatoes. That's pretty hard to do in this cold valley. Like I say, this will be our 4th summer here, and then in the last 3 years, we've had 2 months. Our 2nd July here and our 3rd July here, we didn't have a frost in, and we've had frosts in every other month since we've been here. Pretty cold climate. Then across here, this is just a steep southern face. Right here on the top of it, I've got another row of cucumbers. They haven't come up yet except for one little plant. These baskets are to protect them from our ground squirrels. That's another problem I have. The dang ground squirrels like to eat the plants, especially when they're young. Really having a fight with them. And then this year I've tried a couple years to get some Jerusalem artichokes coming. And so this year is the first year that I was able to get them to come up. Jerusalem artichokes do really well as far as reseeding. They'll just come back year after year. They just come up from the roots every year. Even when you pick them, you can't ever get all of the tubers out, and they'll just come back. I've had a hard time getting them started, but they're doing really well this year. Got some other things going on here. Comfrey, really nice little comfrey bush. All of these little flowers were just volunteers coming up all over and reseeding themselves every year. This is a currant bush that we planted a couple years ago, and this spring there is actually some little berries on it. So that one's finally starting to take off. We've got our Jerusalem, or our rhubarb patch. Rhubarb does really well in cold weather. This looks kind of ratty because we've already harvested a batch of rhubarb from it. Got a little bit more comfrey that I've transplanted there. This spring down here, I got a whole bunch of starts, raspberry starts from my brother. Planted a nice roll of raspberry starts there, and up here, this is the west facing, so they get good afternoon sun. And then these are some raspberries that we had grown the previous years, and they're doing really well, but they haven't produced any berries yet for us. Hopefully this year we'll get some berries off of them. Back over here we've got goji berries. They are an awesome plant. The berries are just full of vitamins and minerals, stuff like that. Really good for you. They're a little red berry when they come on. When we lived in the south, the goji berries would come on in the spring and produce a crop, and then they would go dormant during the heat of the summer, and then in the fall they would produce a crop. But here they start producing in the early summer, and they produce for us all year long. You can see already here there's a few blossoms starting on them. Really a neat plant. And then we've got one other thing going on over here. This is what they call a hugelkultur bed. It's just a big pile of wood scraps that we're letting rot down, that's got dirt integrated and covered with dirt, with soil. I've got a bunch of annual stuff on it right now, and it's all started coming up. Kohlrabi and cabbage and a bunch of lettuces. And then on the top of this year I've planted a bunch of asparagus, and hoping that this bed will all just turn into a big asparagus bed. Eventually I'll quit planting the annuals and just keep that asparagus growing on it. This does really well in dry climates. because that wood soaks up the moisture as it's rotten, and then it'll give it off during the summer when it goes into your dry season. Anyway, that's our attempt at gardening. Looks pretty sad for this time of year compared to a lot of other people in better climates. It's just hard to accomplish things in this cold climate. I am in the process of building a greenhouse. It'll be an earth integrated greenhouse, and I've been taking some video of that, but I haven't posted any of it yet because it's going to take me too long. It'll be the whole summer building it, and I'd rather kind of put it all together in several longer videos rather than spreading it out across the whole summer. So that's what we're doing here as far as our gardening. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe, and come back and look for more videos from the Tractor Rescue Ranch.